Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel and happy 2024. So I thought I'd start the year off by showing off my Grey Knights army that I started a good couple of years ago. Never really got round to finish them. Over the last few weeks over Christmas and stuff, I really kind of pushed myself into getting my little Cadian detachment done for him, and I just thought I'd do a little bit of an army showcase just to see, what I've added since last time I did my video. So what I'll do is I'll start with the Grey Knight side of things, just give you a little run through of that. Then we'll follow on to the Cadian side of things, and I'll just give you a little rundown of what I'll probably do continuing this army for the rest of the year. So starting off first, we've got the Grey Knight side of things. So I'll start down the front here, give you a little pan around quickly. So this army I've had for quite a few years. I started it up I think about 4 or 5 years ago. Always wanted a Grey Knights army, always thought they were one of the coolest Space Marine factions. Surprisingly, I find these incredibly easy to paint compared to normal Space Marines, just because obviously the silvers and golds and things like that. Normal Space Marines, I have quite a bit of difficulty painting them, just I have no idea why, it's just like a mental block I have. But this is a pretty decent sized Grey Knight army. I've got quite a few heroes in it. Starting at the back, I've got the Forge World Dreadnought. So this is the very old Forge World one. I've had this for Christ knows how many years. I've got all the aftermarket attachments. So I've got the Force Blade and the Psy Cannon upgrade, as well as the Grey Knight Sarcophagus and leg set. This was not cheap. I got that quite a while back. I've got the Dread Knight as well. I also converted him so he's got a dual-bladed, dual-wielded blade. That's all magnetised, so I have different weapons options. One of the newer units that I've added to the army is my Rhino here. So this dude actually does have the very old Forge World Grey Knight upgrade for it as well. Pretty cool looking model, just adds a little bit of extra variety, makes it fit in more with your army if you've got a little Grey Knights dude sitting in it. That's just painted in the basic scheme, so I didn't want anything flashy for the rhinos and vehicles and things, so I just went for a normal black colour. I've got 3 units of 5 Terminators, so I've got these ones here. All the captains, they're all magnetised, so they have different weapons loadouts. Same with this one as well. He's got like a magnetised wrist, so I can change out his weapons. So if I want to give him a hammer or a staff or something like that, same with those guys. But I did one of the units with swords, just because I like a bit of variation. These are all mainly just for rule of cool. I don't really tend to game much anymore. This is mainly just for my own little collection, and I paint pretty much what I want to paint. That's the main thing I get out of this, is I add what I want to my army. There's no tactical additions or I should add this to make this army better. It's literally, I like this army, I like this box, I'll buy this and I'll paint it. I've got 2 units of the 5 normal Marines. The heroes, again, they're magnetised, and the heavy weapons options are magnetised as well, just so I can swap them out for different weapons. So that guy's got the flamer, that guy's got the Psy Cannon thing. Dual swords on that one, and dual swords on that one. I probably will get another 10-man squad, split them into 5s and do them with glaives, just because that'd be nice to add them to the unit as well. I've got a converted Brother Knight, so this was one of the old metal... Oh, my fish breaking stuff. This was one of the old metal Grey Knights from God knows how long, so when they first come out, so he's all metal. He was just a spare that I had, so I actually had the body and the torso, and I didn't have any arms or anything like that, so when I got my plastic kits, I just used what I had left over spare and made a Brother Captain. Just adds another hero to the army. That's the main reason why I did him. So I've got this guy as well. He's another Brother Captain. He's actually converted from Lugthuron. So I had a Lugthuron model. The claws snapped off and he wasn't in a good way. So I thought, I'm up for a bit of fun, so I'll convert him. So he's got the heraldry and things like that. He's obviously got the flamer, really fits into the army as well. So he's got like a purging of the heretic flame. I gave him a big staff as well, and gave him the inquisitorial banner on the back just to make him stand out a bit more. So I've got the Ultramarines librarian as well. I had him. He was in a box of bits that I had knocking around. I converted him up, chopped his hand off, gave him a new staff tip because he obviously had the Ultramarines one. Gave him a normal Grey Knights guy bolter, wrist mounted bolter, changed the backpack out, added a few purity seals and stuff, and he's now my normal Space Marine librarian for the army. I've got my chaplain here as well. So this was actually meant to be done for Golden Demon many years ago, but I messed him up, and I thought rather than just like chucking him in a box, I'll paint him up. I don't have a chaplain for the army, so why the hell not? So I painted him up. He was actually really good fun to paint up. Just as, again, a nice little bit of variation to the army. As you can see, everything's silver except him. He's all in black. The old Castellan Crow. So that's the old one. I do want to get the new one at some point. Just getting around to getting him is one of the main things, because every time I've tried to go and buy him, I can never find him. We've got a old school Terminator librarian. Sorry, my autofocus on this camera is rubbish. So again, just a normal Terminator librarian. He's got the staff, and the one thing I always liked about this model was the massive book that he has on top of him. You know, preaching the word of the Emperor to heretics. He's a really cool model. The main hero that I have as well, again, for this army is Khaldor Drago. So he's one of my favourite characters. His lore is just incredible. He's such a hard bastard. And, you know, the shield that he has is amazing. Such a cool model. And I actually love him to pieces. To tie into the Cadian side of things, what I do have here is kind of, I have I think it's an Everseer assassin. So this is one of the old school metal ones. I just felt like adding an assassin to this army would just be nice, just to add a bit of variation. Why not? Again, rule of cool. I add what I like to this army because I like the look of it. I've got an old school Inquisitor here as well. So I've actually had this for Christ knows how many years. I think I had this when he first came out, when the Demon Hunters Codex came out. Very old model. I'd actually stripped him back down and then repainted him for this army. Again, I really like this model. I think he was like £4 when he first came out. Pretty chunky bit of metal as well, really heavy. He's got obviously a is that a flamer or is that a combi melter? I don't know. He's got some sort of melter gun. But again, he kind of ties the two armies together. Being the Inquisitor, you know, he's kind of got the Grey Knights on his side, and he has his own Astra Militarum, or as I call them, Cadian army. So we're going to get to the Cadian side of things now. So a little bit of a back history. Essentially, the whole story for this army is a small, well, I say small, a mining outpost on a hive city came under attack from a unknown enemy. People started going missing. People started mutating, changing. Obviously, it was being tainted by chaos. The Inquisitor was called in to check things out and make sure, you know, it wasn't what it was going to be. Turned out it was chaos. The mining colony being basically tainted by Tzeentch, and people were starting to change. So the Inquisitor called in his Astra Militarum, inquisitorial retinue. You know, these have all been blessed by the Emperor, so they have a bit more of a better chance than being squished and, you know, killed within 2 seconds of landing. They held off on their own. The only things that were actually standing a chance against the demon attack was the Imperial Knights at the back there. So there was a house of Imperial Knights that were used to construct some of the hive city and do some of the construction work, because that's what they were meant to be for. They were then enlisted by the Inquisitor to help out, so they were given inquisitorial blessings, and they were given blessings of the Emperor, and they were then basically commissioned into fighting, and they've now become part of this unit. Things went tits up, people started dying, and then the Silver Boys came down with Khaldor. So for the inquisitorial Astra Militarum Cadian side of things, I have obviously my two Imperial Knights. You've seen these before in previous videos. So you've got my big guy there. These have actually been on Warhammer Community and also Warhammer Twitch as well. You've got my 2 Armiger Warglaves. These were incredibly fun to paint. Some are probably the most funnest kits to build as well. So simple, and they were done in the same paint scheme as them. So they've all got like weathering, and they've got kill counts and stuff. They've got their own names. And I will probably add another Imperial Knight to these at some point, just because I won't have the big construction one with the it's not a javelin, what is it? A harpoon, just because it ties in with the construction theme. I've got my... He is obviously a Mechanicus model, but I use him as a tech priest. Basic troops, I've got 20 basic troops, so I've got a unit of 5, another unit of 5 with a very old school metal captain, and I've got a unit of 10 at the front here with another old school metal captain. Heavy weapons team, just because that's what came in the box. The tank, which I've only just finished painting up a few days ago, so I still tried to keep it in the colours of the, the Inquisitorial blacks and reds. Did a bit of weather and stuff on it. Got a Sentinel as well, so I'd like to get another Sentinel at some point, just because I really like the models. We've got a unit of Psykers here. I just felt like having Psykers in the army would be a good choice, just because, Grey Knights are all Psykers as well, and these would kind of help them to stave the warp a little bit and communicate with the Grey Knights. Very old school demon host back here, so he was an absolute treasure that I found. Always wanted one of these, never got the chance to buy one. My local gaming shop had one in second hand, covered in paint, absolutely thick as hell, so I stripped it down. It was like £3, so I snatched that up straight away. I've got my command squad here, so I've got an old school commissar, my all-time favourite commissar model that there was. I've got my metal standard bearer. I've got the metal medic. I've got the, I can't remember, is it Master of Orders or something like that, the one that calls in the orbital bombardments. So again, he was like a super bargain at like £2. And I've also got just a normal Inquisitorial henchman down there, just like a guy who chats, lets people know what's going on. He scribes things, stuff like that. And that's pretty much the whole army. So I'm not too sure on points-wise what this is. Old school points from like 7th or 8th edition Demon Hunters, we're looking at probably about 2,000, 3,000 points. I'm not sure what it is in 10th edition, because I really don't want to play 10th edition. So, again, this army is pretty much whatever the hell I fancy painting and adding to it. My next units that I'll add to it is probably another 10-man unit of normal troops, but I want to do them as veterans, so I've got all backpacks, Forge World backpacks and weapon upgrades and stuff that I managed to pick up cheap. I'm going to add that to the unit, have them as a veteran unit. Probably going to get another Sentinel at some point. I do want to get a couple of Chimeras, just for troop transports, just because obviously it makes sense to have a couple of Chimeras. I'm very tempted with the new videos that GW put out for the not the Indomitus Crusade. I think it was the Indomitus Crusade. The ones where they have like the video of the Salamander fighting with the Sister of Battle really inspired me to kind of push it on with this army, and I really would like to add a unit of Sisters of Battle to this. Not like a full detachment or loads and loads of models, things like that. Just probably 1 or 2 squads and a Canoness just to add to them. Just to bolster up and make them just look pretty, really. Always wanted to paint them. The new models are very, very nice. It would be nice to paint them, just have them added to the army, really. Grey Knights wise, not really much else I can add to them. I do have, if I can show you just a second, I do have a Forge World kit, upgrade kit for a Land Raider. So this has got all the Land Raider doors and stuff like that, and the big old heavy flamers that the tank has. I have that. That is on my list of things to buy as a Land Raider, because why the hell would you not have a Land Raider? Because they're fucking awesome and they are huge. Again, another 10-man squad of normal troops, probably. The new Castellan Crow model. And yeah, that's kind of it. So as I said, I kind of pushed myself over Christmas to kind of get these done. These have been sitting pretty much in a box in my airing cupboard for probably the best part of 2-3 years. since the last video was out probably about 2 years ago. I just need to get my backlog done, really. This is what I'm kind of starting to do. Just get everything finished. I've bought some really useful boxes as well down there. So they're all going to get the magnetic sheets in them. All these are going to get magnetised, or magnets underneath the bases. One of the things I did do for these as well was 3D printed these like movement tray type things. So that obviously I didn't use them as movement trays, but I just like to have them on these because they just look really nice in units in a squad. And I've done that with the same with the Cadians as well. So all the Cadians are on these little movement trays just to keep them in the squads. As you can see, I've got an empty base there as well, so I'm probably going to get another model or a hero model or something just to add to that unit. Yeah, overall I'm really happy with how I progressed with these. The tank was painted in probably about a day. Most of the other things were painted in the same time frame. And yeah, it's been a good push. I've really enjoyed doing these, and it's kind of spurred me on to do another 40k army, but I'm not too sure what I want to collect yet. I'd like to keep the Imperium theme, maybe go for a Sisters army or a Custodians army, but I do like Dark Eldar, so you never know. But yeah, just keep an eye on updates and stuff. I probably will do another little video update on these maybe in another 6 months or something, just to see what I've added to it. But I hope you like the army, and apologies for the camera. I'm having to use my backup camera now because my phone broke, so I do apologise for the picture quality. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, everybody. Happy 2024. I am actively going to be making an effort this year to be posting more videos onto YouTube. I'm going to be doing some painting videos, and I'm also getting into the old world as well. So I'm going to be doing some videos on them. So stay tuned, and happy wargaming, everybody, and happy 2024.